Greetings from Sky Country, friends. This is Rena back with another edition of Sky Country Journal's Montana's 69th legislature. Will the people have a voice? And I am excited today to be joined by an acquaintance of mine from Ravalli County. And Mr. Bill Lussenheide is agreed very graciously to muddle through this with me while we bring you a little update on some of what's going on in the legislature and some of what Bill is doing and some of how you can be involved. So thanks for joining me, Bill. I am thrilled to have you, and you're the first person I thought of when I saw, a recall petition has been launched regarding the out of line nine, the nine Republicans that crossed over right off the bat and mysteriously joined with the Democrats to undermine the Republican majority control of the Senate. So thanks for joining me, Bill. Tell us a little bit about yourself and from your perspective, how to be involved in this 69th legislative session in Montana.
Well, thank you, Rena. Certainly a pleasure to be with you today on your broadcast. I'm very honored that you have asked me to join and given this opportunity. I'm Bill Lussenheide. I am the Ravalli County Committee Man, Republican Committee Man for District 24, elected here this past June. And I consider myself to be a citizen activist, if you will. I've been interested in politics for a long time. Used to hang around the city council chambers when I was a 12, 13, 14-year-old. And I remember one old guy grabbed me one day and says, "Kid, do your civic duty, get up there and address that city council." And with my knees shaking, I went up there and addressed them and complained about the fact that there were feathers in my yard from the chicken factory. And that was my first foray into politics. But
Wow.
I've been a United States congressional candidate, and I at one time was on the executive committee for the Constitution Party nationwide. And so I like being involved. I like observing and participating in the governing process. And I believe it's incumbent for all citizens to have that kind of interest.
I love it. So, Bill, the Republicans have a perennial problem, and boy, it didn't take long this session for that to pop right out. But it's has a twist this year, and it's kind of come snapping back in a very maybe fortunate way for Republicans, because what has happened is a lot of corruption has been exposed as nine Republicans day one crossed over and voted with the Democrats. What happened from your point of view, and what's going on at this point?
Well, that was involved with a little coup about committee assignments and some oversight committees and all that. And uh, we had an elected 32 to 18 advantage in
Yes.
Senate. Okay, with nine people crossing over that were Republicans, uh, that now switches to 27 to 23. Okay, disadvantage. We've had a long-standing problem in Montana of
Yes.
what's referred to as Republicans in name only. Okay, and part of that problem is because we do not have partisan primaries. And in order to win in Montana, in many, many districts, you have to put that R, Republican, after your name. And so people hijack that R and run, and the electorate, without doing their proper homework and all that, elect these people that are moderate to liberal, okay, and are not really loyal to the party platform of the state of Republican Party of Montana. I, when I swore my oath, I gave allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of Montana, and also to the platform of the Republican Party. And so
Right.
I have to ask, if you want to be a Republican, then you should be loyal to his party platform. And as a committee man and committee people across this state, we're the ones that are responsible for putting together that state platform. And frankly, it's a very good conservative state platform and the like. So we don't want to have people elected that are just up there think they can do whatever they want. They have to stand for something. I'm not against people forming another political party if they want, but they need to be honest about that when they put that R after their name on a ballot.
Bill, I was really impressed with an article written by Sue Vinton, who is the majority whip. So it's her job to get the votes all lined out for specific bills that their caucus is pressing forward. And she had a very good article, at least in the Bitterroot Star. I don't know where else the article may have ran, but she placed the blame squarely at the feet of the Democrat Party because who always benefits from this phenomenon? It's always the big government, grow government, crony, Democrat policy that seems to win out in the end. We never end up cutting and enacting some of the policies that we sent our liberty-loving representatives to Helena to push for us.
Right. Well, the problem, of course, is that you have the pragmatists that we just talked about that's willing to switch over. We also have a very liberal Supreme Court, extreme,
Exactly.
and even if we get good bills through, okay, and even signed by the governor, the Supreme Court can go and overrule those bills. All right, so we have a problem with that as such. Uh,
Also, a big problem in Montana, and one of the reasons it was so crucial for Republicans to maintain control over those committees so that they could bring forward some of the bills that are meant to rein in our judicial branch here in Montana.
Well, there was no doubt there was a collusion about that. Uh, so they do not want to have oversight at the Supreme Court level. I'm an advocate for the idea of Supreme Court justices being partisan races. They should be able to be identified with the R or the D or whatever behind their name, because a lot of the electorate do not do the homework necessary
Right.
about a judge. They see a name and they don't know what they've ruled or so forth, and it's kind of kept obscured. And
It
so,
absolutely is.
yeah, the electorate needs to know who they're electing as judges. It's a very powerful branch, in government. The third branch there, and they can torpedo lots of good conservative legislation that we put out there.
Absolutely. So that is one of the ramifications of what happened this session so early on is that um, some of these bills that might really make an impact on the judiciary, property taxes. There's so many big issues this year, and it
Right.
all involves a lot of money and a lot of power. So they really have done some damage. And Bill, you have talked about being a, a citizen activist. So tell us some of the things that you've done and some of the things that you suggest others do.
Well, number one, you need to stay informed, all right, and do your homework on this. Uh, Men died defending our right to vote, if you will, right, throughout history and World War II and all that. My dad was a World War II veteran, serious action, so forth. To defend our right to vote, defend our concept of a republic and democracy. So this is a serious, serious thing with it's been paid with a blood price. So we need to take that serious, okay? The amount of people that are going out to vote is very, very low. In the primary here in my county, Ravalli County, most of the counties across Montana, the turnout rate was around 38%, just 38% of the registered
Right.
voters. And even in the general election, only went up to around 70%. And normally it's around 50 for the general, but because of the Trump campaign and all that, we still only had 70%. It should be closer to like 95. But a lot of people have given up on the idea. They say, well, you can't change City Hall.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. My voice doesn't matter. Uh, but I'm here to tell you that it does and that you can make a difference. I'll give you a small example here in Ravalli County. Uh, the Department of Transportation was going to try to put in a $10 million roundabout. And, our whole county budget's only $100 million. And so Senator Manzella led the charge, but many of us joined in and we started getting petitions out there. We gathered 5,000 signatures against that. We had a rally with the signs and, the bullhorn and that kind of thing. There right on site at the Bell Crossing intersection with the 93 where they were going to make the roundabout. Uh, Went to meetings, went and met with the commissioners. We had many citizens that went and testified to the county commissioners. Uh, I went to all the different meetings, talked to all the engineers and so forth. So, it, guess what? There is no roundabout going to be put in. They reduced the speed, which was probably necessary, but little Joe and Sally Citizen made it happen. And so
Right.
I believe me, it can make a difference. I myself have gone to Helena several times to be able to speak to the different committees. There is public access that's there at meetings, and we need to take advantage of that. Give our 5 minutes of thoughts and so forth into the process. And you realize every one of us is willing to do that, represent hundreds of people. And I think that
Right.
our legislators do realize
Absolutely. What did you find out about a recall effort?
that. Well, I came up with that. All right. I literally said to myself, this is ridiculous. We have 9 unfaithful legislators led by Jason Ellsworth, who is the former president of the Senate, uh, who has betrayed the party. Okay. He was not reelected to be the Senate president. And
Right.
out of bitterness, he decided, well, if I don't get it, if I don't get my way, I'll scuttle the whole thing, right? And found some compatriots to do that, and the like. And so I said, the second I saw that, I go, this is ridiculous. Went in there and found out, what does it take to do a recall? Uh, and I said, well, right away I can get out there and put an online petition. Now, it's not necessarily legal recall on that, but to create the public pressure. If you don't think
Right.
that these people are watching that, they are. And in a matter of just a couple of days now, I've got over 300 people have signed the online petition. But we're in process of getting a formal recall. That's a legal process.
Yes.
It takes signed, with ink signatures. But you'd be surprised how reasonable that litmus is. It requires a special form from the Secretary of State. We've already filed some paperwork and the like, but it only requires 15% of the electorate in those districts to sign the petition to have a recall. And a Senate district is typically about 18,000 registered voters.
Right.
For a very nominal 2,700 signatures, we can put these guys' feet to the fire. And so, again, it just takes a few people to be willing to take the lead and the like, and it can be done. Again, like I said, just with a nominal effort here in Ravalli County, well, we had several people that helped, several merchants that had the petitions and the like, but we got well over 5,000 signatures, legal
Right.
signatures on the roundabout. So again, I decided that let's get in there and get this rolling. And guess what? When you take the lead, there's other people that are standing up, uh, officials that are standing up, people in other counties that are standing up, people that want to join and volunteer and all that. And so again, it just takes the attitude that I can go and shake the bushes, and and there are people out there with that have souls and have a gleam in their eye and are interested, and they'll find you. You'll find them, and they'll find you.
I noticed as we looked at the list of these out of line nine, One of them was a from Sanders County. His name is Denley Loge from Sanders County, and his Republican Central Committee in Sanders County um, rescinded their endorsement. So just it was a strongly worded letter, so to speak. Um, I think they also demanded that he show up on the courthouse steps and explain himself in person. That kind of thing has got to have a real impact. And I think it's that kind of thing that, the new media, the social media aspect, has allowed us to communicate about those kinds of things. And that's got to have an impact on somebody if you get called up to the courthouse steps to explain yourself.
Well, you know what? Let's just take a look at the way media has changed, especially here in Montana, but across the world even. Um, the internet has created a third wave, if you will, of ability to communicate, and we've not fully exploited it yet. It used to be political thought was very much dominated by radio, newspapers, and television. Okay, and now we have this fantastic medium of internet. Here I'm able to talk to you, Rena, and we're able to talk about political things. There's forums, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, or X as it's called now,
Exactly.
and we have a tremendous ability to leverage this to find like-minded people for our cause. And so, again, these people that are in office, they're interested in being reelected. Okay,
Absolutely.
and so for, again, citizen activism, get in there, post on a forum, uh, be involved. Really, I want to encourage people across Montana, go to your Central Committee meetings, Republican Central Committee meetings, and be there. You can
Absolutely.
have a voice there too, and so forth. And we can create a wave. And really, I think the person who really broke this through was Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he was in media, he was on television, all right, very outspoken that way, had his own TV show, The Apprentice,
Right.
and he broke through the idea of creating your own media. If
That's
you
right.
and
What
we're
he
doing
didn't
that
know about media, his kid did.
well for sure, and he took advantage of it. And so here we are, and it is a very, very powerful force. I think it will just grow and grow as time moves on. The ability of the empowerment of being able to do something like this. And so
Absolutely.
Montana has always been kind of also, we're only 1 million people or so here in Montana, and major media has kind of bypassed it. Newspapers are in decline. The newspapers here in Montana are all very much in decline and having difficulty making it. Frankly, newspapers everywhere. And so, where's the new media? Where's the new information sources going to come from? And it's not that hard to create a blog or create a community interest Facebook page or that type of thing,
Right.
and it can definitely influence many thousands of people. And even
Right. Join your local political groups on Facebook and uh, just go to X and type in Montana. It's just amazing that there's a lot of information out there. And that's kind of what I want to do this session is just be able to amplify those voices of people that are speaking up. And gosh, I really appreciate you again, Bill. I don't want to take a whole lot of your time, but I wanted to find out what you have going on there and encourage people to get to the legemt.gov website, get a hold of your representative, and make your feelings known because that is our only opportunity really to have a voice is to speak through your representatives.
well, I'll just tag. Do you remember the old movie Network? It was back in the '70s, and the one guy goes on TV and he opens up the window and yells out, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore."
Oh, that's where that came from.
And then everybody opens up their window and does the same thing across the country, right? I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And we need to direct that kind of energy. We need to have that kind of energy It's our country. It's our future. It's our legacy for our grandchildren and beyond and so forth. And Montana, the last good, great place, right? Let's keep it going and let's be mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. And let's demand accountability and transparency and honesty and fidelity in our political system.
Boy, wouldn't that be great?
Appreciate being on.
Thanks so much for joining me, Bill.
Well, thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you.